Now let's talk submission. Man, the energy on that video, sis, blink twice if you need help. What's good, y'all? I'm Lonnie Appleton. If you have a couple of minutes, I have a couple of messages. I just referenced that video because just the energy on that video. Submission is two-sided, not just one. A lot of men confuse submission with you find a woman who's willing to bend her entire will to you. She's willing to shrink for you and disappear because you demand it in order to be with you. And you think you're doing something big because you are something worthy of someone disappearing for. But let's keep it all the way G. Do you feel good and are you proud of yourself because you made someone disappear? And ladies, if you're with someone who demands you to disappear in order to be with them in the name of submission, you're not with him. You have now become his servant. Now, submission looks different for everyone. So I'm not saying that there's no place for submission. But what I'm saying is if that submission is in the name of you shrinking, disappearing, and denying your individuality and your wants and desires, that's not submission. That's slavery. And too many men in our community think, oh, well, she won't submit. She won't do. And then they talk to their boys who have officially or successfully bullied their woman into submission, and they look at them, they're like, dang, I must be doing something wrong because I can't bully my girl. Yeah, because she ain't disappearing. Sorry, you're not just dating a vagina. Take a shot. You're dating an entire human being who existed before you. You're dating an entire human being who has a mind of their own. And there's nothing against a woman who has chosen to submit in the manner that she chooses to submit. This is nothing towards women, period. This is towards men who believe submission is bullying your spouse into disappearing. If she willfully goes there, boom, you got one. But if you gotta fight her and break her in order to do it, you don't have one, because in both cases, when you got one and you don't, the common thing in both of those factors are she was willing to do what was necessary in order to be in alignment with you. But the other side of submission that they leave out, what were you willing to do in order to be in alignment with her? So what is submission according to Lonnie? Well, I'm glad you asked. It is a thing when it's not perversive. Submission is when you, the male, come into the relationship, the female comes into the relationship, or whatever the dynamic of your relationship is, and you both agree upon how that particular relationship is going to function, who that person was individually prior to the relationship, and who this person was prior to the relationship. You submit those things. You give up those individual aspects of yourself and you do what is necessary to function together. The reason why men and women in our community are butting heads is because men believe that submission is, I'm going to rule over her. You ain't gonna rule over me. You ain't my daddy. She could call you daddy, but you ain't her daddy. And you'll be hard pressed to find a woman who's like, whatever you like. If you know, you know. You'll be hard pressed to find that. And that's why you have the passport bros and you have all these other men going other places to go into cultures where submission is bending the will of a woman. Women have fought too hard to have the little bit of identity that they have in this country to just give it away easily. So submission is both of you. Both of you come together and you submit to each other's will, because that's what's going to make your relationship work. You need to change what's in your head about what's cool. Sitting and bragging at the barbershop about how you dogged a girl out or how you made her do what you wanted to do, and that ain't cool. I mean, it may be cool to your peers, but can your peers? The person you want to be cool to is your girl. And what does she want? What makes her happy? What makes her think that you look good? Because that's whose opinion matters. The problem is we're out here trying to duplicate everybody else's relationship, but everybody else's relationship isn't ours. How can we be successful here when we're trying to be out there? We can't be what's out there. We must be what's in here. And how we figure out what's in here is talking to each other and coming to an understanding. That's true submission. Two individuals come together, figure out, and submit their individuality to each other to become us. True submission. Submission Impromptu Part 3. What's good, y'all? I'm Lonnie Appleton. If you have a couple of minutes, I have a couple of messages. Now I'm sitting on the submission thing, and I'm really thinking now. Submission is rooted in insecurity. We already know we first heard about this crap in the Bible. And who wrote the Bible? King James? A man? Patriarchy bush. They did what they needed to do, and they continue to do what they need to do to feel superior in their inadequacies. Now, men, don't turn off this video because this is for you. This is a growth opportunity for you. If you realize submission, the way that has been framed in our community, is rooted in insecurities, then we can start growing and get on the same page. Because what's happening is you're coming into these relationships and you're unwilling to change who you are. And then we have society saying, don't allow someone to change you. I am 100%. You don't change yourself until you find your forever. Ain't nobody worth you changing. You can evolve as you grow and you pick up new skills and you meet new people and you're like, okay, this worked, this doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. But changing who you are at the core, that's reserved for your forever. There's supposed to be a ring there, but my knuckle's too big. So how is submission rooted in insecurity? Submission means you want to come into a relationship. Now, this is how submission has been presented to me. Every man that has expected me to submit, this is how they come towards me. I can't speak for y'all, but I can speak my experience. Maybe there's somebody else out there who could relate. Maybe there's some men who think this way, who can evolve their thinking and truly stop bumping up against their woman. Every man that has asked me to submit has pretty much asked me to deny myself and do whatever they want me to do. And when I ask them to do something, they will not move. A man wants to come into a relationship as he is. And when a woman is like, okay, this doesn't work for me, he's like, so? But he's more than okay with saying these things don't work for me and you need to change or else. And most women are in imbalanced relationships, and that's a whole nother topic. But women are saying, okay, I'll do what I need to do to be with you. The way that it's supposed to go, and I know y'all ain't gonna agree with me, but that's cool. The true dynamic is men do what's necessary to be with her. My aunt used to tell me when I was a kid, this is one thing she did teach me. Find you a man that loves you more than you love him. And that doesn't mean you don't love him. That just means a man has to be so far into the relationship to be able to do what's necessary to maintain the relationship. But that's a whole nother topic, or at least another video. So men's unwillingness to evolve and change is what submission is rooted in. Women need to change because men ain't moving. And when she denies her individuality to be with you, you feel like you won a victory. But honestly, you just made a miserable, tired woman. Guaranteed, if you ask a woman who you did not take into account her feelings in this whole submission thing, she's miserable and you've won nothing.